Anti-government protests have taken over Venezuela. Fed-up citizens have made way for a revolution in an attempt to force out President Nicholas Maduro. They say they are tired, hungry, and have no hope for the future.
Una situación donde no hay comida, no hay alimentos, no hay gasolina, no hay luz, no hay agua, por motivo de la corrupción.
Military officials will defend Maduro's stance at all costs.
Y de estar listos y prestos para defender la patria con las armas en la mano.
Tear gas, live rounds, and armored trucks line the streets daily. Seen here are military officials trampling over civilians with those vehicles. For those who do stay, fighting seems to be the only option.
¡Fuera, Maduro! ¡Fuera!
¡Fuera, fuera!
Life or death are two very real parallels for those who support the power struggle of opposition leader Juan Guaido. As people flee in an attempt to escape poverty and violence, many see the United States as the ideal refuge. Yet, fleeing Venezuela is becoming an impossible mission. Venezuela's borders are on the brink of chaos. On Monday, around 200 migrants from Venezuela were refused entry at the Chile-Peru border. Thousands of miles away from the Chilean border, Europe is becoming home to an increasing amount of migrants from Latin America. Venezuelans are now the #1 asylum seekers in Spain, some asking for an old favor: citizenship from family members.
Toda mi familia vive aquí, ya tengo un hermano que es español, mi familia es rumana, mi papá es rumano, entonces la posibilidad de venirnos a España era más fácil para emigrar.
Existing family ties in Europe are clearly a game changer for some, but unlike the stringent anti-immigration laws of the US, EU laws allow for migrants to have rights in Spain. A plane ticket for Venezuela can land you here, in Valencia, where you don't even need a visa.
El tener acceso a una sanidad universal, el tener acceso a una escolarización de sus hijos menores de edad, el tener una cobertura, claro, que igual les permite pues, comenzar una nueva vida en un punto de partida pues, más fácil.
No había ningún tipo de posibilidades para los niños, futuro, las universidades estaban cerrando, los colegios están cerrando, en ocasiones tuvimos más de una semana sin electricidad.
Many Venezuelans can find their first job here in Valencia, delivering food for services like McDonald's, KFC, and Burger King. This app makes it possible for anyone to work under someone else's name. All you need is someone with citizenship and a phone for an account. This man is a Venezuelan asylum seeker who doesn't want to be identified. We will call him Martin. Martin fled Venezuela after police arrived at his home, put a gun to his head, and forced him to leave the country.
Tuve que huir, dejé todo, abandoné mi hogar, abandoné mi casa, mis coches, mis estudios. Y nada, nos tocó venir a España, vivir una nueva vida y aquí estamos empezando de cero.
It's people like Jose Zapata who are giving so many Venezuelan refugees their lives back. His restaurant works with food delivery services. If it weren't for folks like Jose who take chances on migrants, most will be unemployed and still in limbo. Jose, who is also from Venezuela, feels that the issues in his home country are far from over.
Imagine that you are kidnapped for some delinquent. You will not free yourself. You need help from the police. It's the case of Venezuela. We are kidnapped from this government and we need help.
Latin America remains kidnapped and paralyzed by a migrant crisis, and the American dream remains a golden ticket for those seeking a better life. But some are realizing the hard way. That dream is not always the way out.
I am moving out of my room where I've been staying for the past month, and I am moving to Germany. I just want to show you my whole life, 10 years inside one car.
But she never made it to Germany. Instead, she fled to Spain. After her dad was deported over 3,000 miles to Spain, Maria Cabrera lived in constant fear that she would be deported next. With her father gone, she became homeless. Suddenly, the golden ticket was not so golden after all.
I just can't believe I'm leaving my whole life behind.
Most migrants flee to the US. You were already there, so why Spain?
Being a DACA recipient was very comforting at first because I felt like, you know, the government is finally recognizing that I am more American than anything else. It is impossible for someone to just thrive on DACA. For example, you have no access to health care, and I couldn't leave the country. If anything happened to any of my family members, because everyone is outside of the US, I don't have anyone in the US, I would not be able to see them.
Can you walk me through that feeling of loneliness?
just feeling alone in the world, like your family's all over the place. And it's like if something happens, then no one's there to help you, to defend you, to love you. And you just have to be alone. I don't know, it's just really hard.
That feeling of loneliness is what many migrants have to face on their journey for a better life in any country. But Maria says that Spain not only offers her a sense of freedom, but also the sense of community that she never had in the US.
The people here is very, very family oriented, like we are in Latin America.
Right now, a wave of migrants in Latin America remain in limbo. As the power struggle in Venezuela pushes its people to leave, Spain is becoming overburdened by asylum seekers. David says services like housing at this shelter that once took a month to provide are now taking closer to a year. Moving forward, Spain remains a safe haven for migrants who are desperately trying to escape poverty and violence, something that may not end without foreign support.